Hey guys, it's WooGs here. This is a Dclone video that I got asked by Willie to make. It was a while ago he asked me to do this, and I didn't really do it for the longest time because I couldn't find the gear. I decided to do it without the gear now. But this is Shockweb Tier 2 Dclone. I am using just a couple of traps just to make the skelly phases a bit quicker, but this is essentially entirely Shockweb. You can see how quick there the first phase was. The issue here is if you just throw out Shockwebs, um, it takes forever to kill these stupid skellies. Like, it's not that dangerous, but you kind of just have to keep running around and do this. You could use a Shadow Warrior or Master and try to like hold them still and have them sit in the Shockweb. That might have been interesting. Um, yeah, that could be interesting to maybe go through that, but I already had the Sentinels leveled, so I was like, oh, I'll just use these a little bit just to make this a bit faster. I didn't want to use too many traps because lightning can do declone anyway, so I didn't want to, just use shockweb occasionally and it's just a pretend it's a shockweb kill, but really it's just a CLS kill. So I'm trying to use mainly just shockweb and then just using the lightning sentry or chain lightning just to make the skelly phases a little bit easier. Um, Now the Shockweb, the reason why it's actually really good, one is because Dclone has a large hitbox, and there's a number of basically like damaging points in a Shockweb. I think there's like 17 or something. It changes, but he gets hit by almost all of them. Not quite, but you can stack them on top of each other, and he's just getting really, insane amount of damage if he stands still. Shockweb also receives Elemental Pierce, but the traps do not. So you can have really high pierce and just kind of, um, you know, have crazy damage come out because you're just ignoring all the resistances. It's definitely really quick at killing the archers, as you can see. If you get, I think, 2 full traps on them, you seem to be able to kill them. I have really bad frames, so when I'm getting hit, I'm kind of stuttering all the time. That's kind of an issue with my gear. I'll go through the gear at the end, but I just kind of threw this together with what I had on my Claws of Thunder mapping sin and my CLS mapping sin, and just tried to make it work. So nothing is actually Shockweb specific. I just kind of put on what I could. So there's actually CLS claws that I'm using. So those 6 skills are entirely useless in this fight, and missing those skills of Shockweb, of course. The facets in the claws are also just trap claws, so they're like +5, -3, so they're also not good there. So yeah, just to keep that in mind. So there's definitely some room to improve. Now, I would not just do Shockweb ever. I think the point of this video is that you can supplement your trap with Shockweb, and you can kind of use both. I would use a lot more traps than I am. Like right now I'm just throwing Shockweb, but really there's no reason not to have a whole bunch of traps. You see I kind of just threw some out there now because he was so close to phasing and I just wanted it done. Um, that was me walking into a whole bunch there. I mean, that's why I like this pillar. You have time to kind of readjust yourself. But that wasn't really smart to do that. So there's no reason not to throw down a bunch of traps here. But yeah, I'm just trying to showcase the damage of that. It's a little bit difficult in phase 3. I probably should just focus more on traps for that one, but it's kind of what I want to show this damage for. Now, of course, Mr. DH did say Shockweb was the best bosser. I mean, yeah, it's really troll, but in Ubers, Shockweb or Fire Blast actually does quite well because they're so big as well, and you can kind of keep them standing still with your Mercenary and your Shadows. So you could actually almost instant pop Tristram Ubers with Shockweb or Fire Blast. So in that sense, it's actually really good. It's not really a safe build though, so I don't know if I would actually really recommend it, but it's definitely a fun thing to do. For these boss fights, Tier 0, it's really, really, really strong. Almost too strong. Maybe I'll record one of that, but you kind of instantly phase everything. Maybe I'll try to record something of that later, because it's kind of funny to see, but It's almost kind of too strong. And you'll see I'm taking really a lot of damage here. This is because I went kind of pure DPS, very little defenses, very little life as you can see, and I didn't bother to get any proper gear for the build specifically. I mean, I've killed a lot of bosses on this account, so I have a lot of gear I can kind of mix and match, so it's not that the gear is terrible by any means, it's just not very specific for a trapper or shock web specifically. So I'm just going to pop those, you'll see here, and just kind of stand behind the pillar. I was a bit confused there because I was like, what the heck's going on? I thought he like didn't phase or something. I was like, that's weird, but he was kind of just stuck. And for Shockweb, it's a really quick kill if he stands still. If he moves around, you know, that's kind of the problem. So I do think there is probably a world, sorry about that, I keep hitting my mouse, a world where you do like a Shadow Warrior Master and try to like keep the minions and maybe Dclone occupied. I don't really know how useful it would be, but it's definitely interesting. You are going to get some bad luck with him standing in bad spots like that, but if he's ever in the middle, you can kind of just, you know, do a lot of damage. Of course, again, this is not really an optimized assassin kill, this is just a pure DPS kill that I just wanted to show. I've also only spec'd to damaging abilities pretty much, except for 1 points. I didn't realize I had not killed Dclone on this assassin, so we got an announcement for that, but wasn't really the intention. Oh, I gotta clip this video. Okay, yeah, we're back. So here you can see the claws. That's just a 3-chain lightning, 6-chain lightnings venom. So that's just 3 facets in shaft stop, 3 facets in a Kira's, a decent amulet, plus 6 CLS again. So not useful claws again. You know, kind of some random jewelry and such there. And then it's just some decent mid-tier charms, pretty good. And then for skills, what we did here is we just maxed Shockweb all the way down on the lightning side. We maxed everything. Shockweb has infinite synergies. We put 1 point there, 1 point weapon block, 1 point burst of speed. I actually wish I didn't put 1 point into Dragonflight because I have teleport on my Ami, and I could have just used that to get to the corner, so that was a wasted 4 points, and that would have been a lot cooler, but that's what it is.